5 fixes to help you get through that round. I cannot advocate this enough. It's such an important tip, by the way. Feeling like you're staying in the shot that you don't even need to know about. What things can we do on the golf course to help us straight away? Get us through that round, get us back to the clubhouse, and then you can evaluate your swing there. That was lovely. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Warren Bennett. We should have Trev back there getting out of the way of this wind we've got straight into me on what is an absolute beautiful day here in the middle range at Chestfield in terms of sunshine. But the wind chill factor is about -5, so I'm wrapped up, Trev's wrapped up, and it's all a bit cold. Now in today's video, what we're going to do is give you 5 fixes to help you get through that round, because obviously when we're around the golf course we can't change our swing. So what things can we do on the golf course to help us straight away? Get us through that round, get us back to the clubhouse, and then you can evaluate your swing there. So before I get frostbite, I'll tell you what these 5 things are, I'll get the back camera set up and I'll tell you what they are. Okay everyone, so thanks very much for joining me for another one. Thanks for everyone's support, and I had a few comments and a few messages from people in snowier climates, so I'm not going to moan about today's weather at all, because you know, snow on the ground is a complete no-no for golf, isn't it? So I'm not going to complain, although it is very cold. So yeah, what 5 things can we take on the golf course? I was a great one to get through a round when I was playing on tour, because I never really had the internals right. So if you've seen previous videos about me telling you that I didn't really know where this golf ball was going, so I was really good at finding little swing thoughts, and these 5 I'm going to give you today can really help actually, short term and long term. So before we freeze, let's get going. So the first one is a tip I gave a friend actually a few weeks ago. He was struggling with his hybrids, he couldn't get them off the floor, he was topping them all the time. So I didn't tell him why, but I told him what's called butt up. So I just told him just to lift his hands up maybe an inch or 2 and make that angle a little bit straighter. That's going to help with this takeaway, to take it back a little bit more one piece, and it's going to make the angle between the club, the grip and your body just that little bit longer. And if you're struggling to hit the back of the ball, if you feel like you're lifting up a little bit, obviously there's many reasons why when you do that, is just to kind of lift your hands up a little bit and grip up. Make sure you get the proper length of this golf club. Now I've seen many people grip down, which is great with a driver, something like that. Remember, that's 2 inches in the air. But I told him just to grip up a little bit, make sure the butt of the club is sitting onto the pad there. You don't have to lift up with it, so you're not lifting up with it, but I just told him to lift his hands up, and it makes that kind of angle a little bit longer, makes the club a little bit longer, because what you don't want to do, you don't want to sit like this. Obviously that's extreme. But when you think about it, the golf ball's only 1.68 inches in terms of diameter. If you lift up 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, you're going to hit near the equator, and there's your topping. So it only has to be done very fractionally. Having problems with your fairway woods, your hybrids, your irons off the floor, just feel like your hands are lifting up a little bit and then go. Just helps with getting that club down to the ball. Okay, let's get on to the second one. Okay, so the second one is a feeling actually I did. Definitely played a few tournaments feeling this way. One I think was Dubai, one was Singapore, and it's watch the club head hit the ball, because I felt like I was lifting out a little bit. Now there was obviously reasons behind that. The club wasn't in the right place. I needed to kind of get out the way of it to get the club back to the ball, like many golfers. But sometimes we hit a shot, don't we, where it's like blink and you miss it. It's like you make a backswing, 3/4 of the way up the backswing, it's like, wow, what happened there? Because there's that bit of anxiety, isn't there? Obviously I was feeling that as well, but it's feeling like you're staying in the shot. So it's actually watching the club head hit the ball, watch it disappear, and obviously look up then. So okay, so let's hit a few, see if I can get a 9 out of 10. Really watch, really stay down in the shot and watch it go. Yep, I can actually saw that ball. Obviously I didn't see the ball disappear, it's going too quickly, but I saw the divot there and waited for my right shoulder to pick me up there, as you can see with the slow motion. Now I'm pretty sure it was Singapore where I actually graded each shot. Actually on the back of the yardage chart, I actually graded each shot on each hole. So if it was a 9 out of 10, if I could really feel it, it was always a good shot. There were some shots where it was only about a 6 out of 10 and I couldn't really see it, so I was probably lifted a bit, and it was always a bit average. So it really gave me confidence that if I could really sort myself out here, really watch it disappear, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, then it was always a good shot. So you're waiting for this right shoulder to pick my chin up and then I can go. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, that was even better than the previous one. I'd say that was about a 10 out of 10. There's a right to left wind here, just tailed at the end, but that was a pretty good shot. It keeps your eye line level, and I'm going to do a video just on this, by the way, because there's so much of that one thing that cures four in this feeling. And what this actually does, I think the main one, is it keeps your eye line level. And if it keeps your eye line level, it keeps your shoulders more passive. If my eye line changed and I lifted up, there's no way I can keep my shoulders passive, especially if you've got a fault of over the top and a too quick shoulder plane. So watching the ball disappear solves the shoulder plane, gives you a little bit more down in the downswing, and solves a bit of release as well. So it's all those really great things that you don't even need to know about, and it helps that club swing past you if you're a little bit quick and out of it. Really stay in the shot, something like that, and let's go for it. That was all right too, a little bit quicker than the previous one. I'd probably give that an 8 or a 9. So it's really great. Next time you go on the golf course, see if you can grade yourself watching that ball disappear. And that's with every shot, by the way, because you see even with a chip shot, don't you? And even with putting, you see your friends or yourself lift up a little bit too quickly, because if you lift up, that affects other things, like I said. So watching that ball disappear is an absolute great feeling to take on the golf course straight away. Okay, so let's get on to number 3. Number 3 is a little bit more technical than the previous one, but it's what's called backswing synchro, if I can get that right. And what you're looking for is you're looking for your shoulders, as soon as your left shoulder, obviously for right-handers, as soon as your left shoulder hits your chin, your arms and the club want to stop at the same time. So synchronizing all these 3 things, shoulder, hands and club. What you don't want to do is go shoulder in, because pretty much your shoulder hits your chin is the first thing. What you don't want to do after that is then start moving your hands and club after that. So it's just like the earlier video short swing for big results earlier in January. This is the same thing as that, is you want everything to stop at the same time. You'd rather be there than having this excess movement, this no man's land, which gets you into trouble, gets your hands and club in the wrong position, especially your hands and arms, and then you're in a position that you can't kind of retrieve it from there. So really what you're looking for is you're looking for this kind of shoulder, hands and club to be stopping all at the same time. Shoulder, hands, club, and then everything comes down together. You're allowing this club to then synchronize and sequence better on the way down, because that's what the backswing's there. Backswing's there to load, to get this club coming down in the correct plane, obviously under speed as well. So let me see if I can do it. Synchronization, so as soon as my shoulder hits my chin, everything stops. Now I shouldn't have a problem doing it. So synchronizing your backswing, making everything stop at the same time, having a little bit shorter, can really affect how the club, your arms, come down to the ball with speed and on the correct plane. And it's one of those areas of the swing, as we know, is we don't know where this club is. I certainly don't anyway, unless you're doing super slow motion swings. So getting some synchronization in your swing is an absolute must, by the way, because you don't see any elite golfers, especially professionals, do this. So you might have a fraction of movement, there's a bit of kind of transitional work, but there's no excess movement. So if you have a golf swing that's got a little bit long and a little bit kind of disconnected here, it's going to feel really strange and it's going to feel really short, but that's a good thing, remember. Okay, see if I can keep still. Bang. Let's go, see if I can replicate that. Yes. Nice little fade, holding up into the wind. Okay, so that's number 3, that's synchronization. Let's get on to the 4th thing. Okay, number 4, everyone, is rhythm. It's a rhythm thing. Golf swing can definitely be glued together with good rhythm. Now, one area of the golf swing where rhythm can really affect us badly and good is the transition. 7/8 of the way up, 1/3 of the way down. We want to try and keep this as light as possible. Now, when we come to a shot we don't like, especially when there's a sun into us as well, which is a really kind of a bad effect, isn't it? We want to see where it's gone, is we want to be able to kind of have this transition very smooth. So what I'd like you to do, make a few practice swings, and what we're not going to actually physically pause at the top, but we're going to really kind of take our time, and that allows everything to drop down, remember. So nice and smooth. You can see I've just held it for maybe a third of a second there, just a little bit of time. So next time you do some practice swings or a shot you don't like, or you're feeling a bit of pressure, wind into is another one. We kind of get into it a bit quick, don't we? But really stop there just for a second. Just keep everything nice and light. Transfer that over to a golf ball. Keep everything nice and light. You can see there's just a little bit of pause there. Naturally, I've got slower rhythm. I walk a bit slower and everything, probably talk a bit slower as well. It's just to keep it nice and smooth in the transition. Let's see if I can pause just a little bit at the top. Just allows for sequence. So many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rounds I've played here at Chestfield with club members. They get a little bit quick early on, they're a bit anxious, and it's hard to get that back. So especially early in your round, keep it nice and gentle. Hit one more club to the green. Take a bit of pace off your swing, especially like I say in this transition. Nice and light. It just allows for the club and arms and everything to drop together in sequence. A few practice swings. If we were swinging a really heavy club, clean that off. If we were swinging a really heavy club, we're not going to be quick, are we? Because the heavy club, which I really advocate, by the way, and you can buy some online, I don't know where exactly, but you can buy these heavy training clubs. It allows the club to drop. There's no effort here because the weight of the club does the work for you. It has to swing nice and rhythmical, and the main area for this rhythm is this transition. So next time you play, if you're struggling a little bit, everything's feeling a little bit quick, just take your time. Remember, this kind of backswing synchro will help as well, keeping everything together, but just give it a little kind of a third of a second pause up there. Just feel like you're just stationary just for a little bit and allow the club and arms to drop down. Let's give it one. That was lovely. Okay, so that's the fourth thing. It's a rhythm thing. Let's get on to the fifth and final tip. So the fifth thing is, I cannot advocate this enough. It's lightness of grip. Now, the last three fingers of your top hand, so with a right-handed golfer, it's obviously your left hand, the last three fingers can have a little bit of pressure there. But everything else, whether you've got interlock, overlap or baseball, everything else is kind of lightish. I'd say mine's about a 2 or 3 out of 10, especially the trigger finger. You don't really want this trigger finger to be pressing too much, especially if you're a golfer that comes over the top a bit more. You don't want any of this top hand being a bit dominant. You want to be able to get this club and arms falling down a little bit, and softness of grip will help that, especially to get you through that round. Okay, so let's go for some practice swings. Let's imagine we're on the golf course, just about to hit this shot, brain's a bit frazzled, just hit some rubbish shots. What can we do? Okay, let's get the lightness of grip throughout the whole swing, not just your backswing. It's all the way through the swing to the finish. You're going to feel 1 or 2 out of 10. Literally going to feel like the club, I'm really letting go. Your instinct as a human being isn't going to let that club go, by the way. So what you're actually doing technically is allowing the club to swing you, because it's now heavier. Because if your grip's lighter, you can now feel the club head a little bit easier. It's such an important tip, by the way. Cannot advocate it enough. It's so important to not only just get you through that round, it's just one of the major feelings to take on the golf course. So if you're that golfer who wants to take no swing thoughts out on the golf course, and nor should you really, the feeling is to take lightness of grip. It's difficult, by the way. It's not as easy as you think, because instinctively, especially if you have a kind of a change of direction problem, if you're a little bit quick and a little bit over the top, softening that grip is going to be really effective in allowing this club to swing down. Let's try one. See if I can do literally a 1 out of 10. Now I'm going to take a bit of pace off. This is going to be a real smooth one. Wow. Now that's amazing. I really took the pace off feeling, and the ball probably went the same distance there. Because what's actually happening there, it's allowing, like I've said, this club to be heavy, and it's giving me some snap, some natural speed down the bottom, because having a grip that's probably 10 out of 10. Let's go crazy. 10 out of 10, can't squeeze it any harder. There's no way I can use my wrists. So remember, it's a golf swing that's allowed to kind of move and swing. It's not one that we need to control. And that's quite important what I said about control. When we're going through a bit of a bad patch on the golf course, we feel like we need to control. We need to kind of control this club and start putting ourselves in the position. It's the opposite, by the way. My friend Neil said, and I quote, I've said a few times on the channel, to gain control, you've got to lose it. That's a fantastic statement. I always remember him saying that 30 years ago now. So to help with that, we've got to be able to soften our grip and get this club to swing. That's the only way to get our club to swing around us instead of the other way round. Okay, let's do another one. This kind of golf course feeling, 2 or 3 out of 10, all the way through our backswing, downswing, and into our finish. And when you finish your swing, wow, that's another unbelievable one. It's probably gone further. When you finish your swing, gauge it. Is it still 2 out of 3? Is it lighter, or have you kind of gone a little bit more squeeze there? It's difficult. It's not as easy as it looks, by the way, especially around the golf course. It's probably subconsciously a little bit easier for me out in the range here, because there's no target really, I'm just hitting. And that's the idea, what we want to do on the golf course, especially if it goes wrong. We want to be able to not have too much control. We want to try and let the club do the work for you, and this lightness of grip is one of the major feelings that you can take on the golf course, and to hopefully improve you and get you through that kind of round straight away. Okay everyone, so thanks very much for joining me for another one. I've really enjoyed this one because I love feelings. I love giving golfers feelings like this can have a massive influence on other areas without you even knowing about it. Because what we can't do, can we? We can't go on the golf course with 5 swing thoughts. It's not a swing by numbers. There is a time and a place for that in a net, at home, practice swings, things like that. But on the golf course, especially when things go wrong, and let's face it, us golfers, we know things are going to go wrong, don't we? We want to try and be able to pinpoint it, get us through that shot, get us through that hole, get us through that round. And these 5 things can be a great influence to help you with that. Okay everyone, so I think it's time for me to show some affection to Trev. Here we are. And we bid you farewell. Have a great week everyone. Thank you very much for everyone's support. We're 2025, got some exciting things ahead for this year. More playing, definitely on the golf course, show you a bit more playing side of golf. And yeah, just have to wait for it to warm up and get a little bit more playing friendly, let's say. Okay everyone, so for myself and Trev and the you know what down there, we bid you farewell. Hope it's a little bit warmer where you are, but my thoughts are with you people who are out in the snowy conditions, and hopefully you can get some indoor practice done this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. Okay, so time for me to go, bid you farewell, stay healthy on and off the golf course, and we'll see you next time. So for myself and Trev, cheerio. Whoa, tennis ball. Come on then, clip her up. Oh, good catch, Trev.